The Lantern Walker. In a land where fog swallowed the horizon and stars rarely shone, there lived a young man named Elias. His village lay nestled at the foot of the Gray Mountains, a place where stories of greatness were told but never lived. Elias was a dreamer. As a boy, he would stare into the misty peaks beyond the village and ask, "What's out there?" But every time he voiced his wonder, the villagers would scoff. "No one climbs the Gray Mountains. The path is cursed with storms and shadows. You'll get lost before you even begin." And so, like many before him, Elias waited. He waited for a sign. He waited for someone to return from the mountain with a map. He waited until waiting began to ache. Then one morning, after the death of his father, a man who had once whispered dreams of far-off lands, Elias stood at the edge of the village with nothing but a lantern and a bag of bread. No map, no guide, just firelight and longing. A village elder stopped him. "Where are you going, boy?" Elias looked to the mountain, then back to the fog-shrouded path. "I don't know," he said, "but I'm done waiting." The path was colder than he imagined and crueler. The fog didn't part, it thickened. Elias could only see a few feet ahead with his lantern, barely enough to keep from stumbling. Every step forward felt like a mistake. He thought about turning back at least a dozen times before he met her. An old woman, cloaked in rags and silence, sat on a stone by the path. "You look lost," she said. "I am," Elias confessed. "I thought I could see more by now, but I don't know where I'm going." The woman chuckled softly. "That's the trick of the mountain, it never shows you the top. But if your feet keep moving, it always shows you the next step." She handed him a small jar of oil. "For the lantern. Keep it lit." Days passed. Then weeks. He slept under trees, on rocks, sometimes soaked to the bone. Every night doubt crept in like the chill wind. Every morning the fog returned, but he remembered the woman's words, and he took the next step. One morning, Elias found a traveler sitting against a tree, too tired to go on. "You heading up the mountain?" the man asked, voice brittle. "I am. Do you know the way?" "No," Elias said honestly. "But I've made it this far with one lantern, one jar of oil, and one step at a time." The man smiled faintly. "Mind if I follow your light?" As weeks turned into seasons, Elias wasn't alone anymore. Others began to follow his light. The tired, the broken, the dreamers, not because he had answers, but because he moved. Each night someone added a drop of oil to the lantern, and each morning they took the next step. They laughed, but they walked. And something strange happened. The fog didn't lift, but Elias grew stronger. He no longer feared what lay beyond the light, because he had learned the secret. You don't have to see the whole path. You only have to see far enough to move forward. Years later, Elias reached a place where the path turned into sky. He stood at the summit, above the clouds, above the fear. The sunrise touched the horizon in gold and fire. He looked back and gasped. There, winding like a ribbon through the mountains, was a glowing trail of lanterns, hundreds of them, lit by those who had followed him, each one carried by someone who had once stood where he stood. Lost, uncertain, afraid, but they had taken the step because someone else had shown them it was possible. Elias never claimed to be a leader, a prophet, or a guide. He was just a man who refused to let fear chain him to the village of silence. And in doing so, he proved something timeless. You don't need to see the finish line, you just need the courage to start moving. The path reveals itself to those who walk, and the light you carry may be the very light that guides someone else. So hit that button, like and subscribe, so we can continue this journey together.